our comedian for the evening.
All right, little change in pace. I am the joke monkey that's supposed to make you guys laugh tonight. But before that can happen, I think we need to handle some business. I think you need to get to know me a little bit. And the first thing you need to know about me is I have some pretty major trust issues. I'm a firm believer that trust is earned, it can be lost, and once lost, it's almost impossible to get back. If you want to know how I feel about that, just ask my dogs who lost my trust a long time ago. I have two dogs. I have a 9-year-old pit bull named Bo, and I have a 2-year-old Belgian Malinois named Rocky. Now I rescued Bo from a shelter about 8.5 years ago. It was a high kill shelter, so I basically saved his life. And I didn't have too high of expectations. I wanted a little bit of companionship and eternal servitude. I didn't think I was asking too much there. And he gave me a little bit of that companionship, didn't give me any of the eternal servitude. He just begs me for a lot of food, not because he misses food, or not because he misses meals. Dude eats more food than I've seen anyone eat. And he's just always sitting at my feet, waiting for that extra scrap. Like he's still fighting those 3.5-pound chihuahuas for pound scraps. Just yesterday I got home from work, and I didn't realize dogs could do this, but they can smell potato chips even when the bags are sealed. Because I got home from a meeting last night at about 9:30, real excited to get home and dig into that brand new bag of potato chips, to find that Bo had already done so. And the bag of potato chips was in my family room with a few crumbs. So, when I first got Bo, he was pretty chill. He didn't get into anything. He didn't chew anything up, so I didn't have to put him in a kennel. I didn't have a kennel for him, so I didn't put him in one. Didn't buy one until he got into the first pair of shoes. Then I realized I should probably at least lock him in the bathroom while I'm at work until I get a kennel. Day one, I get home from work, open the bathroom door to see the shower curtain ripped down, 2 plungers chewed up, a couple tubes of toothpaste gone, and trim ripped out of the wall. Decided that day it's probably a good idea to go get a kennel for Bo. He loved his kennel, put a blanket inside of it, a couple toys. He was comfortable. It was his safe space. I'd put him in there at work, come home, and he'd open the door. He'd stay laying there while I'm watching a movie. There went my companionship. But one day I had to go on a trip for work, did some trade show stuff. I was out of town. I get a call the first day I'm gone. Bo had, and I don't know how, the kennel was locked. The only thing I can imagine is he took his 90-pound pit bull frame, squeezed it as far back as he could against the kennel, and plunged forward like a chubby, fuzzy rocket ship, bursting through the kennel door. He ripped the entire house to shreds. I'm talking books, colored pencils, pillows, shoes, boots, various medications. He survived. He did great. Took the best nap of his life. That's what half a bottle of Benadryl will do to you. So I don't trust Bo. I don't trust kennel locks. Matter of fact, I don't trust any lock on any door ever, especially bathroom stalls. I've seen wet tortillas more secure and more solid than a bathroom stall lock. I also can't trust my other dog, Rocky, the Belgian Malinois. He's 2 years old. I don't know if you know anything about the Belgian Malinois, but that's the dog that special forces all over the world use. I believe, I'm not a big evolution guy, but I do believe that velociraptors evolved into the Belgian Malinois. You may have seen the meme online or been asked or seen it somewhere, where if you were swarmed by a mob of small children, how many could you take out before they win? I'm embarrassed to say that I know that my number is 8. Story for a different time. Malinois have the energy of 12 small children all of the time. So when I got him, or shortly before I got him, I started buying supplies. So I got a kennel way before I got the dog. Learned my lesson the first time. And I would go to the store, I'd go to Tractor Supply, get food, and the ladies would say, "Oh, you're getting a dog? What kind of dog?" You go, "I'm Belgian Malinois." And they'd just give me a look. And they'd say, "Are you sure you can handle a Belgian Malinois?" I'm like, "Yeah." The guy who I'm getting it from, his family, he we're talking, whatever. Went to get my camper fixed because my camper broke. Don't buy a camper, they break. And I bought a travel kennel for the dog. And I go to check out, oh, what kind of dog do you have? Oh, I don't have it yet. I'm getting a Belgian Malinois. The lady looks at me with the same look the Tractor Supply lady gave me. She said, are you sure you can handle a Belgian Malinois? So I'm not sure what vibe I put off, but apparently it's not Belgian Malinois vibes. I can't handle Belgian Malinois. So when I got him, before I went down, the day of, I had a sit-down conversation with Bo. We had to have the talk. Well, not the talk, but we had to have a serious talk. Bo, we're getting another dog. I'm not replacing you, but I need your help training Rocky. See, I read once that if you have an older dog, you get a younger dog, the older dog will help train. That's a lie, by the way. Not true. Because Bo did nothing to help me train Rocky. So I got Rocky back that day, and Rocky really quickly learned he loved to chew on shoes. And I would think Bo would say, Rocky, don't do that. Hunter doesn't like it when we chew on his shoes. But instead, Bo reverted to his animalistic tendencies and destroyed all of my shoes, which wasn't a problem when Bo was chewing on shoes, because I was broke and wearing $10 Goodwill tennies. But at this point in my life, I'm buying $300 Jordans. $7,000 later, I started kenneling Rocky up during the day. So I don't trust my dogs. I also don't trust, we just talked about it, grocery bags. I don't trust any grocery bag. They're not strong enough. They hold about 3 avocados before the handles start to break. So you got to double bag everything. I'm not trying to double bag everything. I'm trying to save the turtles. Sorry about it. But then I get home, and I'm not the multiple trip kind of guy. I'm a one trip, get everything in at once. I'm not doing the multiple trips. So I'll take my overfilled, double-bagged potato chips, overfilled arms, try to squeeze into my skinny little door. A bag will break. I'll drop some stuff. Then I'll get mad, throw them all down, and bring my groceries in 7 trips.
The dog's coming out.
I don't trust grocery bags. I don't trust grocery stores. Listen, groceries are expensive. It's not, and the grocery stores aren't doing us any favors by putting the Little Debbie's right in front of our face, 3 for $5, because you know I'm gonna buy a dozen boxes for $20. It's happening. I'm not gonna say no to that deal. Don't trust grocery stores. They just want my money. Another organization I don't trust the Girl Scouts. I don't have an issue with Girl Scouts. I have an issue with the organization. I'm gonna say it, the cookies aren't that good. Don't be throwing tomatoes, they're not that good.
You're clapping.
And can we talk about how little cute girls selling cookies, that's human exploitation.
Did they? I haven't had any.
Somebody's got to deal with that. Same with the Boy Scouts. They're getting them chubby little acne-riddled, Adderall-needing kids selling way too expensive popcorn. I'm done with it. I'm over it. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, I don't trust none of y'all. I was in the Boy Scouts once, Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. There's a thing in the Boy Scouts, this is 15 years ago, so it may have changed. But in order to be able to start a fire or carry a knife, you had to earn not a badge, but a card. And the fire card was called the Firin' Chit. I didn't swear, C-H-I-T. And then the knife one was a whittling chit. Listen, I was a dumb kid. I'm a pretty dumb adult too, but I was a really dumb kid. I was convinced that once I earned this card, because if you misused a knife, they tore a corner off your card. If you lost all 4 corners, you lost the ability to carry a knife. They had me convinced that if I lost all 4 corners, that I was going to be calling my mom my entire life to come and cut some onions. Week 2, I had 2 corners gone, so it wasn't looking good for me. I was at Boy Scout camp once, and I was a dumb kid, so my friends said, hey, Hunter, let's go do a dumb thing. I'm like, okay, I'm in. They took our knives, and we're seeing who can throw your knife and stick it into the picnic table from furthest away. I lost, and I also lost another quarter off my whittling chip card when my buddy's grandpa came busting out like Major Payne, give me your whittling chip. Ripped the card off. I was done. I quit the Boy Scouts and immediately ripped up my whittling chit and just for spite burned the fire card. I quit the Boy Scouts because I didn't think it had a lot of impact on my future. They always told me that Eagle Scout will look good on your college application. Joke's on them. I'm a community college dropout. And in community college, they're happy if you can just tie your shoes. So that was easy. But I don't I dropped out of college because I don't like people trying to take my money. And that's what I felt like college was, just a bunch of people trying to take my money. And nowadays I'm a youth pastor, and I don't have a lot of money. The money that I do have goes to $25 shoes, because I don't buy the expensive ones anymore, and the dogs that chew up my $25 shoes. One of the things I learned pretty early on being a youth pastor is you got to talk with a bunch of students, and you got to help them work through their problems. And generally, parents will call me and be like, hey, my kid he's misbehaving, or he's doing this, he's doing that, he needs you to talk to him. When I talk to these students, I try to find the root of the problem, because generally bad behavior is just a symptom of a deeper problem, so I try to find it. And I was working with a student a few years ago and started to realize that maybe my trust issues are a symptom of a greater problem. And I discovered the root of my trust issues, my mother. Now, when I was a kid, and you've heard it probably tonight, I have a speech impediment. I struggle with R's and W's. When I started speaking and saying words, my favorite word to say was ambulance, which, not how you say that word, ambulance. But my mom thought it was the cutest thing that I said ambulance, and so did everybody else, until I was about 16 years old. Then it was embarrassing. So my mom said, maybe you need to see a speech therapist. Mom, I need to see a family trauma counselor. I thought I was the smartest kid because I skipped kindergarten. And I thought that I was so smart. But my mom said it was because I was special. And probably because I said ambulance until I was 16. But I was a talkative kid. I was real talkative. And every time we'd have a report card come home or a parent-teacher conference, they would always say, Hunter talks too much. We had to move Hunter, he talks too much. Hunter's real talkative. I was talkative everywhere. My mom, I realized my mom would lie to me as a kid to get me to shut up. For example, we'd be fishing and she'd be like, Hunter, you can't be talking right now, you'll scare the fish away. I fish all the time, I don't scare the fish away, and I still talk all the time. But the one that really got me was with dragonflies. See, my mom told us all growing up that if we were talking around dragonflies, they would take their tails and zip our lips shut. So anytime there'd be a dragonfly, oh, zip your lips! And we'd stop talking. We saw a lot of dragonflies. We didn't see that many dragonflies. I think my mom made up how many dragonflies we actually saw. I didn't learn about the dragonfly lie until last year, which is when I started to discover maybe I can't trust my mom. Maybe she's the root of all of my trust issues.
You can trust me.
You know who I can trust though, completely, wholeheartedly? My stepdad. See, my dad died when I was 6 years old. My mom married a band director. Ladies, by the way, safest Mary out there is a band director. Real safe out there. But I loved sports, and he didn't. So there was always a little bit of bitterness. Why I want to go shoot hoops, my dad doesn't. Until the day that he said, okay, let's go shoot hoops. His first shot, I knew that man's self-awareness was off the charts, because he tossed that ball like it was a hornet's nest on fire. Just heaved it as far as he could. So I knew that moment, although I might not be able to trust my mom, I can trust my stepdad no matter what. So the first thing you need to know about me is that I have trust issues. The second thing you need to know about me is I'm terrible with time management. I'm out of time. Thanks, guys. You've been great. Enjoy the rest of your evening.